guys, what's up? It's me. I'm here to explain thematically what I was doing on my EP that I dropped. Hopefully today, I upload this YouTube video the same day that the EP is out. It might be the night before, but so I just finished uploading the EP stuff, so I'm recording this now. I'm making this video with the intention that you've already listened to the EP. It's like 10, 12 minutes. Go listen to it. It's pretty cool. Now, you might be asking yourself, why am I dropping this? I had dropped an album less than 10 days ago. The answer is it's for an English project. And the album was originally going to be for the English project, but I don't really like the creative limitation that I was under, so it ended up splitting off into two projects, which is why I was able to make such a quick turnaround, getting a whole album and this done in when it's such a close gap is because two of the songs were done since October, and one of them was a scrap song. So you don't care about that though. Care about me explaining this. So the plan is I'll explain the cover art. I'll explain the first and last song because they do the same thing thematically. You'll see when we get there. The second and fourth song because we'll explain the interlude and this will make sense when we get there. Trust me. All of it is gonna make sense when we get there. The second and fourth song analysis, and then just some general key ideas I need you to grasp. So let's get started with the cover art. This is what the cover art is looking like. Now, the bear, don't concern yourself with that. That does nothing thematically. It's just that I really like bears. I use bears on all of my cover arts, whether, bear falling, teddy bear thing, bear claw. That's what the bear is doing. Now, what I do want you to concern yourself with is what's going on behind the bear. My two big inspirations were the Rocky Mountains Landry Peak and American Romanticism in general, as well as American Progress. Now, I really like American Romanticism because thematically, the key point of it is that God is an artist and nature is his masterpiece. I mean, because of course you would think that if you're one of these American artists, you're seeing this breathtaking landscape. You're a devout Protestant. You love God, all that, this, that, and the other, and you're seeing this breathtaking landscape. You're gonna come to that conclusion that God is an artist and a pretty good one too. Now, American Progress, I really hate this and I hate what it stands for. Because what this is doing and what it's standing for, it's saying it's taking this work of art that God has made and saying he has given this to me and I'm gonna do what I want to it. I'm gonna take it, I'm gonna ruin it by slamming all of these industrial industrial advancements in it. I'm gonna destroy it and mold it into my image. This is a very Ted Kaczynski way of thinking. I look up to him. But, industrialism is truly an evil that is destroying this work of art. And it's two different American ideas. One of them is wow, this is a breathtaking gift from God that we must admire. And one of them, God has given to me for me to ravage however I want. And that's been embodied in the cover art because due to the camera I shot it on a Canon camcorder. So from early 2000s cameras older than me. This was taken during harvest season. I took this in early November, so the fields are this nice yellow because this is similar color palette to what was used a lot in the American Hudson River School paintings that I went into. Same thing with kind of the blue sky and all that. So it's this very American Romanticism-esque landscape with the power line slammed onto it, taking the American Progress inspiration from it. The point of this is to contextualize the American reality that I want you to interact with. This whole point of the project is to define what an American is. The point of the cover art, the first and the last song, is to contextualize the American institution and the reality of it that you as an American individual are interacting with. This specifically what I'm doing on the cover art is contextualizing the greed aspect of it. American Progress is the embodiment of the most disgusting greed and entitlement that there is out there. You're taking this beautiful landscape and you're just ravaging it with these disgusting technological advancements that only satisfy greed. You know what I'm saying? Now, obviously power lines like it's not like an evil advancement, but AI data centers most certainly are. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's all the important stuff I want you to get out of the cover art. If We're not gonna come back, but I can't think of anything other important. Like yeah, the point. I just went over that. Now let's talk about the first and last song because they achieve pretty much the same thing in slightly different ways. So when we go over the track list, we have we'll go over what all the song titles mean as we get to them because everything is intentional. Most of them, yeah, just all of them are intentional. So let's start with a long one before the capitalist machine destroys you, said to me. Let us talk about what inspired this track. The inspiration for this is a quick one before the eternal worm devours Connecticut by Have a Nice Life off their album Death Consciousness. This is my number one favorite album of all time. And this song was my number one most streamed of this year. I streamed it 250 times. And this album means the world to me. I revisit it all the time. I have the limited edition version of it on vinyl. Like I have a sticker of the cover on my water bottle. Like this album means the world to me. And I really love this song. Like, and what I've done is I've taken like this sonical how do I want to word this? Like the sonical thematic elements. Like it sounds really stupid, but pretty much what I'm saying is the song is a long, ethereal, sort of ambient track. So I've taken this musical idea and I've applied it in a new way to achieve this point of highlighting greed. It is a slow, long, ambient track. And I'm using the word before in the title because this is the state of nature in the shit. In the this one. Where it's ethereal, beautiful, untouched, absolutely perfect. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of repetition, lots of motion, but like pointless motion, you know what I'm saying? It's just this cloud of ethereal beauty before it gets attacked and destroyed by the capitalist machine. And this is kind of like prefacing like the nature of you know what I'm saying? You get what I'm trying to get at here. You know, like this is the stuff that is being consumed by the greed. The whole point of this and the cover art is to establish America as an institution on the institutional level as greedy and evil and destroying beautiful things for their own self-betterment. This is not in regards to the American individual, to the institution as a whole. It's important that we make that distinction from now. That my problem and criticism that I make in this EP is not of the person, the American like individual. Of course, there are evil American individuals. I'm not trying to say they're all angels, but my criticism is with America as an institution. And I also build upon that on an anti-perfect union. Now, anti-perfect, I chose this word on purpose. It would have been so easy for me to type imperfect instead of this. But what I'm trying to say here is like imperfect implies that something is like okay for the most part. Like we're trying to be perfect, but we have some issues holding us back from this. Anti-perfect is like we are the complete opposite of perfect. Like we are so far gone that there's nothing to be saved. It's not like, you know, what can I do? Like you have a painting and like for the most part it's a pretty cool painting, but like on the specific part of it, your proportions are just absolutely abysmal. You know, it's not like that, or like the whole painting is just disgusting. So, inspiration is the U.S. national anthem because it is the U.S. national anthem, except I've done things to make it sound malevolent and evil. So, the point is like, it's meant to further establish America as an evil institution. Again, we're talking on the big national level, the big institutional level. I achieved this by one, putting it in a minor key. The United States national anthem is originally in C major, and I put it in C minor. And I also make it considerably slower. It is at like 45 BPM, 49, 50, something. The United States national anthem is not meant to be that slow. I also use the church bells of like doom and despair whenever like we got the bombs bursting in air part. And it's meant to be the sonical embodiment of American institutional evil, you know what I'm saying? Both of these establish the American reality that you as an individual are going to interact with. And the whole point of this EP is to kind of talk about this journey on how you choose to interact with that evil reality that I've established via the cover art and the first two songs. Now, that story of how we interact with it is the interlude or poem. So part of an English lesson, we had to write a poem, and I really liked my poem. I think I did a pretty sweet job. So this EP is meant to be the musical expansion of the story in that poem, is across 5 songs. But it's kind of a lie. It's not across 5 songs. It's really the second and fourth song. But let me explain that. The inspiration was Walt Whitman's I Hear America Singing. I did a riff on the name because the name of the poem is I Hear America Screaming. That's also the name of the track. Now, I don't really agree with Walt Whitman's poem, what he's trying to get at, that America is sweet and swag and wonderful. 'Cause it's really not. It's really only good for the, the white man. And well, even for them, it's like the well-off rich white man, It's only good for the aristocrats. Now, about that, enough about that actually. Let's talk about the actual poem. What is being said in the poem is not super mega important, Like there is I am doing some pretty cool stuff here that I could get into, but that's not it's not the most important thing in the world. Like you can dig into this on your own. What I do want you to get at is this stanza is very negative focused. It's all about giving in to greed and betraying your neighbor for your own interests. This bit is a reflection, and then this bit is choosing to love and help your neighbor. Okay, this is what the middle 3 songs of the EP are. The first song, as we'll see when we get to it, is the evil temptation where you hurt your neighbor. The interlude is the reflection. The interlude is the whole poem, but it's working as okay. So if we're using the poem inside the poem, if that makes sense. It most certainly does not. I'm spewing nonsense here, but bear with me. And then this one is the right decision. The right decision to love your neighbor. The point I'm trying to do with this whole EP is to show you the temptation of evil, have you go through this reflection, and come to the decision that what it means to be an American is in the face of an evil institution is to love your neighbor. To make this right decision. Yeah, the point. It's meant to be our journey. I don't know. I don't know why I felt the need to loop myself in. It's your journey, Like, I've already gone through the journey when I made this. Because, let me explain why I went through the journey. Because originally I wanted to focus the entire EP on greed and negativity. But about midway through when I was writing this poem, matter of fact, I got like midway through the stanza and I was like, maybe American people aren't as evil as I think. Mostly just because that week I was interacting with a bunch of people who are proud Americans and really good people. So I kind of did some reflecting and I decided I don't know, I'm hating the wrong thing, and rather than hating the American individual, I should be hating the American institution. And I've decided to take the poem in that direction and the EP in that direction, and hopefully you will follow in that direction. I'm trying to indoctrinate you right now. I want you to think like me, if that makes sense. So let's talk about the second song, I Killed My Neighbor, and how I get you to think like me on this. So the inspiration behind it, this is my main style of music. I'm inspired by musicians like Blacksmith, Out of Touch, Yuscon, Sewer Slut, etc., etc. Ambient jungle drum and bass, atmospheric D&B, It's a very young genre. It kicked off in the 90s and was big in the late 90s, early 2000s, and had a pretty big resurgence around 2020, mid 2020 to 23, and it's still big now. And it's not a traditional genre, it's a very youthful genre because I want this to appeal to young people. You know what I'm saying? Old people, their hearts are hardened, okay, and you can't work when you're hard. You need to set the groundwork while you're soft. That way, when you get hard, you're good to go. The young people's heart, it's still soft, it's still malleable. You could push it in the right direction. It's a little harder to get old people to change their ways. So I want this message to appeal to the young people. So the point of this is it's meant to show the temptation of wanting to give in and harm your neighbor for your own needs. And the way I do that is I use an audio sample of a newsreel where a man has killed his neighbor, or in a sense fallen into the temptation. I don't remember what key I wrote this in. I couldn't tell you. I was meant to write it down. I assume I wrote it in C minor. I was most certainly in a minor key, just because it's meant to be a saddening and emotional song. But I assume that's the key. Heavy 808 basses. This is mostly just my style of production, and like somber pants for mood. Like drum breaks, violent bashing, much like something violent. Like you could tell I was feeling very insightful while writing this. Oh boy. So you, the main thing that I'm using to achieve my goal is that audio sample of the man killing his neighbor. Now, what you need to understand is that in the broader context, we're not actually killing our neighbor here. We're thinking about it. Well, when we get to the big picture analysis, we'll circle back to this and it'll make a lot more sense. I'm telling you, like, just trust the process. It's all gonna make sense. I'm telling you. But They Still Love Me, which is the fourth song. This is where you choose to make the right decision. Now, in the poem, we are forgiven by our neighbor even though we do them wrong. And so this is where the But They Still Love Me part comes in. Like, you know, thought about killing our neighbor, thought about doing something bad to them, but they still love me, so we come to the right decision. This is, similar inspirations, except this time I'm inspired by Lucy Bedrock for the melody. You're just using Shaperbox and Grossby and such to get that that strange thing. It creates a very joyous and moving melody, which is what I want. Again, same reason why I chose like the atmospheric D&B and ambient jungle. It appeals to the young people. Lucy Bedrock inspo also appeals to the young people. It also sounds very cool. At least to me it does. I mean, you could hate it. But the point is meant to show the right choice. So I use the audio sample of the sermon regarding what love is for the intro. And it's Protestant because, you know, it fits the American identity. I don't really agree with a lot of the Protestant doctrine, but like, whole different thing. Like, I could go, we don't need to go in that in this video. But the point is like, it's something that resonates with American people, and it's regarding love. And key. Okay, the key actually is not the important part. The important part is that I'm going from major to relative minor. And what this is doing, it's like a musical trope that is used to create, to add emotion to the song. Now, I want this to be a very emotional song, so I do it, introduce a major, and then I go to the relative minor. So introduce an idea, and then we create tension, and then we relieve that tension by going to a new major, and then we create more tension by going to another relative minor. And so this creation of tension and the relieving of it is what creates an emotional song. Now, I use warm pads again for mood, and it's a much happier mood this time. And the melody thing has a lot of very bright high end, which creates that sort of happy effect. Once again, I didn't do a great job of explaining the drum breaks being like a violent bashing on the first one, but and here, like, thematically, like, this violent bashing is never going to go away, and it can still be beautiful despite that. Let me see. What else is important? Oh, so on this tag, not on this tag, on this song, on the previous one, and I think on the intro, but my producer tag plays, which is like, untalented ruined my life, can someone please kill him? That doesn't do much thematically, it's just because, like, it's my song, you know what I'm saying? So that's why that's there. So don't, like, stress out over it. I know if you, like, you might have heard it and be like, oh, what does that have to do thematically? Nothing. It's just because it's my music, then that's something I do with my music. But I think that's what I want you to get from that. Now, this is where everything is going to click, okay? Trust me, it's going to make sense. The interaction is between me and someone. I want you to learn from my example. You're watching my journey. You know what I'm saying? You're watching unfold and learn from it. So, I'm doing the actions described on the album EP for the most part. You know, we have someone we don't know. We have me. So, a long one is like the angry circumstance that drives me to think about harming my neighbor. Like, it could be the creation. It could be anything. You know what I'm saying? For you, if you're in my shoes. It's not anything for me. I know exactly what it is for me. But if you're in my shoes, it could be anything that would cause you to want to hurt someone else. we have that temptation insider, if that makes sense. And then we go through the temptation in I killed my neighbor, where I think about killing them. I think you think if you're in my shoes, like let's say for example, you think about stealing something from someone. You think about I don't know, saying something mean to someone. You get the idea though. You think about harming someone else for your own benefit. You think about like excluding. You get the idea. And then obviously I don't actually kill them, but I do kill them in my head for all intents and purposes. So I've gone through the hateful action. Like I've fallen into the temptation, but this entity is unharmed, and we both we both go through the reflection. You have to realize is okay. What you have to realize is that this is a two-way street. This thing, because we no longer want to. I no longer. Oh, after reflection, I realize I was wrong, and I choose to be his loving neighbor. You see the two arrows? It's a two-way street. I chose to do that reflection because this entity chose to be kind to me, chose to forgive me despite like the fact that I wanted to harm them, chose to do whatever. Like let's say you're in my shoes. It could be someone smiled on you on the street and you go through that reflection of like you know what I'm saying? Maybe the individual isn't the problem, it's the institution as a whole. And then anti-perpetuity is my reflection that the institution is still doomed. So, let me try and explain this in the best way I can because I've been all over the place. I need this to make sense to you. I, as a person, am angry at the American institution as a whole. Because of that, I've chosen to take out my anger on any individual who falls within this institution. It could be someone who looks like they would support America. I am angry at them because I associate them with the evil institution as a whole. And so we go through the temptation to hurt them, and I killed my. After some reflection, after a stimulus to the reflection, so an act of kindness, this, that, and the other, I reflect and I realize my problem with the individual is should not is like it's unjust. My problem is not with the individual; it's with the institution as a whole. And so after reflection, I decide like it is my duty to help and be kind to all the other individuals around me because they are in the same boat as me. And then we re-reflect on the fact that like my problem is with the institution, and then my role is what it means to be an American to me. Like in the face of this institution that is undoubtedly evil, you still choose to uplift and love your neighbor. You know what I'm saying? And whenever you step into my shoes, because at the end of the day, I want you to step into my shoes. I want you to think like me. I want you to be like me. You know what I'm saying? You should be looking up to me, So, when you step in my shoes, you look up at this evil American institution, and maybe you're not like me and you don't want to hurt your neighbor because you're angry at the institution. Maybe you want to hurt them because you feel like the institution is giving you no other choice, and it's the only, like maybe you're not well off financially and you feel the need to rob someone for the sake of getting your food for the day. That kind stimulus could be like someone you go to a food bank and someone gives you a can of food and you go through the reflection and you realize like what it means, like it should be your duty to be kind to the people around you, and maybe you start volunteering at a soup kitchen. You know what I'm saying? Like despite the big evil institution, we are still doing right to the people around us. Yeah. I mean, hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully I did not waffle too much. If I had to put it in one sentence, like you've been zoned out the whole time, you just need one sentence to make it abundantly clear. What it means to be an American is that in the face of an objectively evil institution, you still choose to uplift and love your neighbor because it is the right thing to do. That is as simple as I can put it. That is the idea that I'm trying to present in this EP. That's the idea I want you to have leaving this EP, and that's the idea I want you to live by. Remember, I'm trying to make you me, and that's not to say I'm perfect. By no means am I perfect, but yeah, thank you if you cared enough to watch this video. Like I said, I was doing this with the intention that you've already listened to it. If you haven't already listened to the EP, please go check it out. I put a lot of work into it. This was a 30-40 hour project. And I don't know. It was some pretty cool stuff. So I hope you check it out. But that's all for me, and I'll see you later. Bye.